Collier-Wise.
Here.
Erickson. Holland.
Here.
Humphrey.
Here.
Mines.
Here.
Price.
Here.
Sorensen.
Here.
Ward. Mayor Powell.
Here.
Student Representative Paulson.
Here.
Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, we have minutes from July 17th special meeting, July 17th regular meeting, and July 25th special meeting.
Second.
A motion is second to approve all 3 sets of minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 4, adopting the agenda. John or Mike, any corrections or changes?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I wish to add an item. I'm sorry. I wish to add an item, a resolution to be presented in support of the law school of USD remaining in Vermillion.
Okay. Will you be delivering that?
I'm sorry?
Will you be delivering that to the committee?
I certainly can if you wish.
Is that the consensus of the council?
So this would be 8K on the agenda then.
Okay. Motion is second to approve the agenda as adapted. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Under visitors to be heard, addressing the council. Persons addressing the council shall use the microphone at the podium. Please raise your hand to be recognized. Go to the podium and state your name and address. Items that are not on the agenda, members of the public may speak under visitors to be heard on any topic not on the agenda. Remarks are limited to 5 minutes and no decision will be made at this time. For agenda items, public testimony will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item. Public testimony will then be closed and the topic will be given to the governing body for possible action. At this point, only city council members and staff may discuss the current agenda item unless a council member moves to allow another person to speak and there is unanimous consent from the council. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the presiding officer at any time. At this time, we have a proclamation to recognize Post 1 baseball championship. And Tom, if you would read that, please.
I'd be honored. This is a proclamation congratulating the 2017 Vermillion Post 1 American Legion baseball team. Whereas the 2017 Vermillion Post 1 baseball team won the South Dakota State B Legion Championship in impressive fashion, going undefeated in the tournament and scoring 31 runs while only allowing 5. And whereas the 2017 Vermillion Post 1 baseball team winning of the 2017 South Dakota State B American Legion Championship was the ending of a legendary 26-4 season. And whereas the 2017 Vermillion Post 1 baseball team tournament run captured the hearts and the attention of the community. And whereas the 2017 Vermillion Post 1 baseball team was guided by coaches Tom Heisinger, Tanner Anderson, and Jeff Kratz, whose guidance and hard work demonstrate their commitment to the team and the Vermillion community. Now, therefore, we, the governing body of the city of Vermillion, South Dakota, for and on behalf of its citizens, do hereby wish to recognize and extend congratulations to the 2017 Vermillion Post 1 baseball team and coaching staff for winning the 2017 South Dakota State B American Legion Championship title. Brandon Mockler, Cole Anderson, Carter Kratz, Billy Mount, Hunter Christofferson, Nate Robertson, Riley Peters, Trey Hagee, Riley Johnson, Gray Peterson, Jacob Chosey, Tom Heisinger, Tanner Anderson, and Jeff Kratz. Dated at Vermillion, South Dakota, this 7th day of August, 2017.
Thank you, Tom. Jim, would you please? Sure. Proceed. Oh.
Thank you.
Members of the council, Mr. Mayor, thank you for taking time to recognize this terrific feat for these individuals and the coaches here tonight. Last year I stood before you and I shared the success of a girls softball team here and a U12 baseball team that won state titles as well. For the Parks and Rec, we're very pleased. We do not have anything to do with the organization that these guys take care of here, what they do, but we help work with them, and it's been a great group of people, parents, coaching staff, kids and such, that really take pride in their field. Their apprentice field is their home field that they truly dearly love out there, and they do a great job. And I think Legion Baseball is not a school-sponsored sport. These guys don't get the recognition that they would normally get if it was a state basketball or football championship, but I think it's duly known that this is a special thing, and it was a phenomenal season, and so I want to say thank you for taking the time to recognize these individuals. Tom, if you could turn it over to you and let you say a few words here.
First of all, I just want to thank you guys for having us. We really appreciate it, and once again, these kids behind me, like I said, they're not all here, but these kids, pretty special, and it was a lot of fun to coach them, and they accomplished quite a bit in their baseball career. So we really appreciate it, and a lot of them aren't done playing yet. So they're great baseball players, but the fact that I'm most proud of is they're developing into great young men. So I'm really proud of them, and I hope you guys are too. So thanks again.
Thank you for bringing such positive recognition to our community. Success continues. Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that has a topic that's not on the agenda that they'd like to bring forth? Anyone in the audience? Any topic not on the agenda? Council members, any topic not on the agenda? Okay, then we'll move on to public hearings. Item A, a special permit to exceed permissible sound levels by no more than 50% for Sanford Vermillion at 20 South Plum Street on Sunday, September 10th, 2017, for the sculpture dedication and ribbon cutting for the new facility to include a live band. And Mike, please.
Sanford Vermillion has applied for this special permit to exceed allowable noise levels for their dedication and ribbon cutting to include live bands on September 10th, 2017, to be held at 20 South Plum Street. A copy of their application along with the map and notice of hearing are included in the packet. The City Council will need to determine at this public hearing if this is a suitable location with appropriate facilities during this time period for this. The fee of $25 has been paid. Administration would recommend issuance of the special permit unless information is presented that would indicate there were some problems related to the noise.
Okay, thank you. Mike, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak on this topic? Seeing none, turn it to the council.
Move approval.
A motion and a second to approve the special permit. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving on to new business. Item A, a request to close Main Street from Market Street to Church Street. I'm sorry, did I skip something? Oh, you're right, thank you. I was trying to beat her record.
It didn't go that fast, to be honest.
Second reading of ordinance 1358 to amend Title 11, Section 114.01 to 114.09 to update the current taxi ordinance to reflect state legislature and to update taxi regulations, as well as Section 114.10 to set regulations on possible transportation network companies. Derek, please.
Thank you. You scared me there, skipping me.
Here, you got all dressed up.
So just to reiterate on the previous meeting we had about the first reading, Ordinance 1358 is to update the taxi ordinance to reflect current South Dakota state legislation and to set regulations for transportation network companies. And we made a couple changes that I believe you guys were provided with a new copy of the ordinance. I was just going to walk you through those.
Okay.
It's just some language things. So in section 114.01 in definitions, in the TNC definition, it used to say licensed, so it was meaning like we would license the transportation network company, and we established that we weren't doing that. We would just license the driver. So we eliminated that, and there was a couple other spots in section 14.02, number 3, point D. It also said license there. We removed that. And on section 114.04, license and issuance. On letter B, point 2, we added in TNC personal vehicle or vehicles. And then we updated some language just to keep it consistent with previous ordinance we've drafted, just so. And we also added in designee on section 14.07, city manager or designee, and we just kept that consistent throughout the document. That's just because of previous ordinances we've drafted. So, and just to reiterate again that the city council, like always, will license the taxi business, and then the city manager would license the taxi driver. But with transportation network companies, the city manager would license the driver because we do not license the transportation network company itself. So the administration recommends approval of the second reading of ordinance 1358.
Council, comments, questions? A motion and a second to approve the ordinance 1358. Since this is a second reading, we will need a roll call.
We have 7 yes and
7 yes and 0 no, so the ordinance is passed. Thank you. Now we'll do old business. Is that right? Or I just did that? We'll go to new business. I'll get with you. Request to close Main Street from Market Street to Church Street, Center Street from East Main Street to East National Street, and a portion of Court Street from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on September 6, 2017 for Tri-State Cruisers Car Show. Malachi, please.
Sure. So basically, we just have a street closure request for the following: from West Main Street, from South Market Street to Church Street, from East National Street to East Main Street on Center Street, and then kind of like a quarter block of Court Street going south to the alleyway. And this is just for the car show, which I believe they've done. This is an annual thing, so we've approved it in the past.
Okay. Council, questions? Motion and to approve the street closing. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item B, a request to close South Plum Street from East Main Street to Jane Street on Sunday, September 10, 2017, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for Sanford Vermillion Medical Clinic Dakota Health Foundation dedication ceremony. And again, Malachi, please.
Yep, so this one's just a really easy one. They're just closing down South Plum Street from East Main Street down to Jane Street, and that's just for a dedication ceremony to dedicate the new addition to the hospital that they've been working on probably for at least the last 2 years, almost since I've been here, but I haven't been here that long, so.
Okay, comments or questions? Motion or second to approve the request. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks, Malachi. Item C, resolution to allow for the reselling of water and sanitary sewer at the Suburban Mobile Home Park located at 833 East Duke Street. Mike, please.
SDVE Suburban MHP LLC, which is the Suburban Mobile Home Court located 833 East Duke, their limited liability corporation, contacted the city with questions on how the city calculates monthly water and wastewater for the mobile home park, as they were furnishing and installing water meters and wanted to charge their tenants for the water and sewer fees. It was noted that city ordinance requires city council approval for the resale of utility service when we were discussing our fees with them, and included in your packet is a copy of the letter that was sent on July 20th from Suburban Mobile Home Court requesting the ability to resell water and wastewater to the tenants of Suburban Mobile Home Court at 833 East Duke. City ordinance addresses the resale, saying that customers shall not resell without authorization by the city council. Their letter includes rates they were looking to charge. Their proposed rates have been reviewed, and they're equal to the current city rate for water. And on sewer, they based it upon the average, or they allocated the current sewer bill that they have to the 110 lots that are available out there, took the total and divided it, since there was no water meters installed in the individual units in January, February, and March. But they also indicated in their letter that next spring they would recalculate the sewer based on each individual trailer's water usage. The city has allowed similar agreements to resell water and sewer at Midwest Mobile Home Park and also at the Plum Vista Mobile Home Park. One other thing they requested in here was to include a $5 monthly meter rental fee for the reading and rental of the meters. It's probably a reasonable amount for somebody reading the meters and billing for them. Administration would recommend approval of the resolution to allow SDVE Suburban MHP LLC to resell utility service to the tenants at Suburban Mobile Home Park for water and sewer, as they are not in excess of the city utility fees billed to the mobile home court, and to allow the monthly $5 utility meter rental fee. The resolution also requires that they notify the city of any changes in their rates.
Thank you, Mike. Council, comments, questions of Mike?
Question. Mike, do you know how, is there any limitation on how soon or?
You want to turn your mic on?
Sorry.
Your other mic, yeah.
Again, I'm used to an engineer doing that, but and I've been out of radio for a long time. Any limitation as to how soon or how high rates could change in a situation like this?
In the past, the city council has tried to make sure that they weren't making a profit buying the water and wastewater from the city in charge. That's why when we reviewed the rates, when we talked to them about it the first time, they were charging the same rate to their tenants as what the city is charging them, except for that $5 fee. And so if they come back and double their rates and the city doesn't double theirs, I will probably be coming back to the city council to say, hey, they provided us notice that they raised their rates.
Okay, appreciate that. And the fee for reading the meter is substantially higher than what the city pays for reading meters, isn't that correct?
Yes, it is, but it sounds like they're doing electronic reading of the meters, and we are working toward that with our city. We've got some out there, and you'll hear from the utilities later this week or next where they're planning on going into that, and there is some costs involved with getting set up with that.
And Mr. Mayor, if I might ask my colleague in the Northeast Ward a question, if that's all right?
If it's all right with your colleague.
Okay. Have you heard from any of the residents of this park? Okay. I haven't had a chance to visit with you, and I certainly have, and I guess I personally would like a little more time to think about it, but thank you for letting me ask.
Any other? John? George? Rich?
Mike, the way I read it, the $5 fee, it means they actually don't own those meters, they're renting them, is that correct?
I did not ask the question of them in their letter. They got a utility fee of that $5. My indication in talking to them, that's what the company is charging them to do the monthly reading and billing, preparing the bills to be sent out.
I read it as meaning they really don't own the meters, but they're renting them from a company that does the rents those and the thing. And I may be wrong, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
The way I would read it, if I might interject, it says rental fee, that they pay each month to this company that does the billing. So it seems like a reasonable
They call it a
expense.
rental fee.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Pleasure of the council? Certainly. Just one.
We've done this for other similar situations. Yes. And have we had any issues?
Whoops, that's two
doing that?
questions.
no,
There was
I
an
guess
and.
I should have reported we have not had any issues with the previous ones that were done. They call when we change rates and adjust their rates accordingly. There's a little different variation. Midwest Mobile Home Court only bills for the amounts in excess of 5,000 gallons. They figured that's a base amount included in their lot rent. The Plum Vista Mobile Home Village, they bill 100% of theirs, which would be a difference between them two. But we have not had any
question if you want.
issues with that's been reported to me or code enforcement with that.
Tom?
Mike, I forgot one question. Is this a fairly new owner of this property?
I didn't have in the letter when they acquired it. They acquired it in January of 2016, so yes, they are fairly new. I know they've had a turnover in managers and having local managers. I think they acquired it in January and we're trying to get set up. There's been some things going on there that have required, like you were involved that time they had water. I know the code enforcement was working with them. They were trying to get a contractor lined up to get the water main fixed in there, but.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Oh, do we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor of allowing them to do this, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item D, request to close a one-block section of Pine Street from National Street to Cedar Street on Thursday, August 17, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for Alpha Phi Bid Day activities. And Jake, please.
All right, thanks, Mayor and Council. So again, this is for the Alpha Phi sorority for their bid day. This is an event that they held last year. No issues occurred during that. One thing we did note is on their request, they didn't note that they'd alerted the neighbors to this, and so we asked them to do that. But otherwise, the relevant departments have been notified. No problems in the past, so administration would recommend authorizing the street closure.
Okay, council? Motion and a second to approve the request. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item E, resolution establishing insurance and licensing requirements for taxi businesses and transportation network companies in accordance with Ordinance 1358. And Derek, please.
Thank you. Okay, so the resolution is for Ordinance 1358, and we figured out these numbers, the prices based off of cities like Sioux Falls, Brookings, and Yankton. They have similar fee structures, and we kind of use that to base our updated fees. So One notable change we have is that it's a $25 fee for a taxi cab business, and that includes their first vehicle, and then $10 for an additional vehicle, and then it's $20 for an annual fee. And as well as a $25 fee for taxi cab businesses, it's a $25 fee for transportation network company drivers as well. And we require that both taxi cab businesses and TNCs have a general liability insurance with a minimum of $1 million for bodily injury, death, or property damage. And both taxi cab and TNCs will have $500,000 in auto liability insurance. And these insurance policies cannot be modified, changed, or canceled within 30 days without notifying the city manager. And the administration recommends approval of this resolution setting fees and licensings for taxi cab businesses and transportation network companies.
Thank you, Derek.
Yep.
Council? A motion and a second to approve the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item F, public comment on USDA grant application for public safety vehicle AEDs. And Jake, please.
All right, so a couple weeks ago, you approved a resolution essentially allowing us to go after this USDA grant for AEDs for first responder vehicles. Part of the application process is that we have to demonstrate that we allowed an avenue for the public to ask questions or provide comments to us, and so we don't actually require any action from the council on this item. We just need to open it up for public comment. I imagine that'll be a fairly quiet affair, but we are required to demonstrate that we're doing that.
Okay. Council?
Is there a pretty good chance we'll receive the grant?
You know, I haven't heard.
Odds?
What's that? What are the odds? You know, I don't know the odds on this, but it did sound, talking to our USDA rep, that this was the kind of project that they liked. It's not construction-based, so that a lot of the impact surveys that you would have to do don't exist. It's a fairly small amount, and it's very easy to demonstrate the public need. So I think in that way we have a good shot. I think a lot of it's going to depend on if we, get in certain deadlines, and these applications have a lot of pieces to them, and so we might get hung up on something that we weren't aware of. But this is one of those little items we just have to check off the list.
Further discussion?
Yeah.
Rich?
What does provide an opportunity for the public? Does that mean put something in the paper saying we're going to do this?
Yes, we did that as well. So we had to demonstrate that we put an ad in the paper, and it showed this time would be open for public comment.
And these have all been done, so really we have no action except to say thank you.
These are very, very important pieces of equipment, so good job.
And Malachi and Derek have something to say. Malachi doesn't know what to say.
Ouch.
When did we lose control of this group?
When everybody left.
Yeah.
Use your gavel, Jeff.
Well, unless you guys want to stick around, somebody ought to move.
Well, I don't think we have to move anything.
Oh, we don't have to? We don't have to approve it? Okay. Is there a second? Item G. Uh-oh. Presentation of the 2018 budget proposal, and I believe that's John that gets to do that.
I'm the party killer, so it's my role usually. So it's that annual time of the year where we present a proposed budget, in this case for 2018. Electronic copies were sent out last Friday, and then there are some paper copies here available that you got at noon or this evening. I want to thank a couple of people, because this doesn't come together very easily or with a snap of fingers, so to speak. It takes a lot of work going back to when the council considered the capital improvement plan back in the first quarter of this year. The department heads do a nice job of looking through at their departments what are needs that we might have out there, what are changes that might be on the horizon. As was mentioned a little bit ago, AMI, which you'll learn more about over the next couple days, that talks about automated meter infrastructure. That's a step forward with respect to that. And we take all that together, we put together the proposed budget document that we give you. There's a whole lot of things in there that you'll have the opportunity to learn about, ask questions about, talk about, to develop a budget for the community for 2018. A couple of highlights. that perhaps draw a little bit more attention than some others are the downtown infrastructure project. It's been something that the community has talked about, and so there's a proposed earmark, if you will. We can still use that term. I know we can't at the federal level, but there's a proposed set-aside, or whatever you want to call it, to set aside some money to help move that project forward, or at least begin or maybe rekindle that discussion some more. One of our largest second penny expenditures next year would be for some park improvements, and there's about half a dozen items that make up the money for that. Continuing some of our increased money for street repairs, some hike bike path replacement projects that we've been working on. We do have one additional staff member that's proposed, and that would be for another telecommunicator or dispatcher in our 911 center. Otherwise, it's pretty much a very conservative budget that we put together for you. The council knows this, but for the public, the council will spend a lot of time going through this, and they deserve a huge thank you for the amount of time that they will spend on this. It's not a simple project. Starting this Thursday, the 10th, there's a meeting at 5:30 in the large conference room. It's a public meeting. And then also on Tuesday, the 15th, is the second meeting where the council will go through the second half of the budget, also at 5:30 that night. So thank you to the department heads and Mike, Jake, Derek, Malachi, and Jen for all the work they've done to get us to this point. And now I guess we turn it over to the council, and you'll take us the rest of the way home.
John, that addition of a 911, is that half our expense?
Yes, correct. In that position, the way the budget worked out would start approximately, if it's approved by the city, would start March 1st of next year, and the costs for the 911 center are split between the city and Clay County.
Thank you. Comments or questions of our city manager on this?
Thank you.
And we don't have to take action, is that?
Sure, just have a motion to acknowledge.
Sure, now we acknowledge. Okay. Motion and second to acknowledge the presentation of the 2018 proposed budget. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks, John. Item H, declaring police department vehicle surplus. And Jose, please.
Thank you. The 2017 equipment replacement schedule had 2 police vehicles to be replaced. These were the 2014 Chevy Caprice and the 2014 Chevy Tahoe. The Tahoe was declared surplus at an earlier meeting. This year, staff is asking at this point, this time, the city council to declare the Caprice surplus and to appraise it at a later, or to appraise it by the Surplus Property Appraisal Committee. As I mentioned, staff would like the city council to declare the Caprice, 2014 Caprice surplus. And in addition to declaring the Caprice appraising the Caprice at the $4,400, staff is also going to be asking the surplus committee to appraise the 2014 Chevy Tahoe at $6,600. Staff will advertise the vehicles to be sold by sealed bids at a later time. If not sold by sealed bids, the vehicles will be sold at the next city auction. Sale proceeds from the equipment will go to the equipment replacement fund. Administration recommends declaring the above listed equipment as surplus and moving forward with appraisal by the Surplus Property Appraisal Committee for their vehicles.
Council, questions for Jose? Motion is second to approve declaring a police department vehicle surplus. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. And you'll have your committee meet after the meeting this evening. Okay. Item I, final plat of Lot 3, Block 1, Solomon's Addition in the east one half of the northeast one quarter of Section 15, TN2N, R51W of the 5th Prime Meridian, Clay County, South Dakota. And Jose, please.
Thanks. The city received a plat from Brandt Land Surveying on behalf of the owner. Property is located 3/4 of a mile north of Highway 50 on the west side of 468th Avenue. The new lot will be 2 acres in size. The owner's intention is to construct a house on the lot. The parcel zoning allows for this use. This plat is within the joint jurisdictional zoning area. Due to that, the plat requires that it be reviewed by the county's planning commission and that they make a recommendation to the city council. The county's planning commission reviewed the plat on July 31st and recommended approval. Staff reviewed the plat and found that it complies with all of the city code provisions. All platting fees have been paid by the applicant. Administration recommends approval of the final plat.
Thank you, Jose. Council, any comments or questions on this? Motion and a second to approve the final plot. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Item J, amendment number 2 to Helms and Associates Engineering Services contract for the apron reconstruction and fueling pad project at the airport. And Jose, please.
Close to a year ago, the city entered into a contract with Helms and Associates for the design of the apron reconstruction. This project has been in the airport's CIP plan since 2015. The proposed amendment that's in front of you guys would cover the cost of the construction administration, resident engineer, inspection and staking services for the apron reconstruction and the fueling pad. These services are required by the FAA for construction at the airport. The original cost of the project was a little bit less than $45,000. The contract was amended again in 2016 by reducing the cost of the project by $2,500 to approximately $42,500. The proposed amendment is again for the construction administration services, and this would increase the cost by $78,072.15 to a new total of $120,500.48. After the grant reimbursements, the city will only pay for 5% of the cost, or $6,025.02. Administration recommends approval of the amendment number 2 with Helms and Associates for construction administration services at Harold Davidson Field. In addition, administration recommends authorizing the mayor to sign all future necessary paperwork for the FAA grant offers and the construction contracts for this project. This will speed the process due to the amount of construction season left.
Jose, does this mean it costs more for administration than it does for construction?
In this case, it does.
Council? Yeah, if we don't do it, I guess, but that's not a choice either. Motion and a second to approve amendment number 2. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item K, Tom, would you care to just tell us about the resolution, what the purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the council, and all who may be interested. Earlier today, from 11 a.m. to after 4 p.m., excuse me, a law school task force met at the Newhart Center on campus of the University of South Dakota to discuss and take testimony on some comment made about moving the law school to Sioux Falls, and they want to, I guess they've been directed to study this thoroughly. So there was a lot of testimony. A couple of us testified, mostly as graduates of the law school. Per our noon meeting, just so you know, we discussed some of this, that it would be okay to offer a resolution this evening, but to also tell the task force that. This task force will meet again September 6th in Sioux Falls, and I understand they'll have a third meeting sometime after that in Rapid City to gather information from people on this. Vermillion and Clay County, actually, and the University of South Dakota, including the School of Law, have had a long, healthy relationship. The University of South Dakota is the flagship university in this in Dakota Territory and later South Dakota. We have a symbiotic relationship, which in the true sense of the word means we're all interrelated and share the educational experience. So it's very important that the law school remain part of the university, which is a collection of colleges. And I offer a resolution of support that the University of South Dakota School of Law remain in Vermillion for consideration by the council. Thank you.
Would it be appropriate for you to represent the council by presenting the resolution at Sioux Falls? Is that something?
I could do that, Mr. Mayor, or I could simply forward it. I have an email address for submission of testimony. I did indicate to the chair of this, Representative Mark Mickelson, that I would forward the results of this evening to him.
Okay.
And he said, well, I'm optimistic, but let me know if it didn't pass, so.
Okay. Well, if it's okay with the council, then we'll have you submit the testimony, or to submit the...
Copies of the resolution have been provided to each of the council members, and I guess with that, I would move approval of this resolution.
Second?
Motion and second to approve the resolution of support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Let's see, I guess we go to bid openings and Linden Ravine Project. Jose, please.
Thank you. The city has been working with the property owners along the Linden Ravine, or, well, more colloquially known as Skunk Hollow. Thank you. Yep. Since 2015 to find a way to address erosion problems along the ravine. The city had a few meetings with adjacent property owners to discuss options available to them. The property owners recommended to the city council to install a low-flow pipe at the bottom of the ravine from Canby to University Street and a grass swale over the new pipe. The swale would be conveying the high-flow events. Bids for this project were open on July 25th. The city sent their request bids to 16 contractors and sent the project to 4 plan houses. From those requests, the city received 7 bids. The low bid was from M&M Construction from Vermillion for $146,801.26, while the high bid was for $194,778. City's estimate for the project was $198,000. Bidding is required by state law when the estimated contract would exceed $50,000. Since the estimate exceeded this limit, the city chose to request bids. The project will be paid out of the Storm Sewer Fund. The 2017 budget included funding for this project. Administration recommends awarding the project to M&M Construction for the amount of $146,801.26.
Thank you, Jose. Council, comments or questions for Jose? No?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was unable to attend the last policy committee meeting, and at that time was against this proposal. So I was not there for the vote, which apparently ended up being recommended that we pass this project. I've not been comfortable with the amount of money and the amount of work to be done on the ecology of this area, and I still wonder if less could be done to simply fix the problem a little simpler. And thank you for calling it Skunk Hollow, which it's been called for many, many years. So older people will recognize now what you're talking about. So I just wanted to add those comments, and I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Certainly. Another one?
Maybe you said it, but what's the time frame of the project?
The time frame, we're actually hoping to have this done by the end of November this year.
That's it? Council? Motion and second to approve the Linden Ravine drainage improvements. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Fuel quotes, Mike?
The fuel quotes should be sitting in front of you, and I think are posted on the screen there. Item 1 for unleaded gasoline with 10% ethanol. The first quote was from Stern Oil, $1.9828 cents per gallon. Item 2 is unleaded gasoline regular, $2.2128 cents per gallon. Item 3 is number 2 diesel fuel dyed, $1.90.97 cents. And item 4, number 2 diesel fuel clear, $2.20.62 cents. The second quote was received from Brunig Service on item 1, $2.07. Item 2, $2.30. Item 3, $1.90. And item 4, $2.20. Stern Oil is low on 1 and 2. Brunig Service is low on 3 and 4.
Thank you, Mike. Council? Motion and second to accept the low bids. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is number 10, our city manager report. John, please.
Thank you. Just an update, we've not yet received information from the tower company representative with respect to when they will have information requested by the city council and the community, so I do not have a date yet to report on that. We're still waiting, and as soon as we have something, we'll send that out. The Planning Commission is nearing the final stages of the comprehensive plan update. A couple of dates of interest related to that. On Wednesday, August 23rd at 5:30, there will be a joint meeting between the City Council and the Planning Commission to review this comprehensive plan update. And then the Planning Commission will have a public hearing to consider the comprehensive plan update on Monday, August 28th at 5:30 p.m. Related to that, we had referenced, there's an article in the paper about airport rezoning that was to be part of the August 14th Planning Commission meeting. We're going to move that back. We had a little glitch in getting it advertised, so we'll be moved back from August 14th to August 28th. A couple of street closings already approved by the City Council, just to remind the public of. Between now and the next council meeting, there is a Thursdays on the Platts. This is Thursday, August 17th. And 4 Thursdays on the Platts, West Main Street, and then a half block of Market Street, basically as they abut Radigan Platts, will be closed from 5 to 8 p.m. on August 17th. USD Move-In Day is Friday, August 18th, and with that, as they've done for several years, Rose Street from Coyote Village north to the Dome, and then also North Plum Street from East Cherry to Highway 50 will be closed from 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Friday, August 18th for USD Move-In Day. And then finally, coming up later this week, High Street with the fair from West Cherry Street through the fairgrounds will be closed beginning at 7 a.m. this Thursday, August 10th, until 5 p.m. on Sunday, August 13th for the Clay County Fair. Leaving street closings, we do have a term on the tree board that will be expiring this fall. Expression of interest forms will be accepted until noon on Thursday, August 31st. And the City Council we'd anticipate the City Council make an appointment at the September 5th meeting. We'll probably see at your next meeting a couple members of the council and staff and some members of DOT. We reviewed 4 proposals from different engineering firms for the master bike plan, and there'll be the recommendation was made to DOT. They were going to contact the lead company, and I anticipate probably in your next meeting you'll have a chance to approve that agreement. A couple of raffle notifications were included in your packet. One is Sanford Vermillion is selling $5 raffle tickets from October 1st of this year until January 15th of next year. And the prize is a pink Afghan valued at $150, and the proceeds of this raffle will go to breast cancer research. And then Vermillion Rotary is selling $25 Monday Night Football books from August 8th to September 5th of this year. The prize is $50 each week of the season, and the winner each week is based on the score of the football game in comparison to the unique nature of the raffle book. And the proceeds are used for Rotary's donations to the community.
Thank you, John. Any comments or questions for our city manager? I guess we'll save them for Thursday and next Tuesday. Okay. Next item is invoices payable and a disclaimer. The first one is not city money that's spent. That's reimbursement from Missouri River Energy Services for my attending meetings. And so it's the expenses there, so it's not any city money. So if you would pull that one out separate.
I have a question.
We're not done with them. So go ahead.
Just out of curiosity, what is number 35, City of Sioux Falls for testing? What do they test?
Our water samples go up there for testing, so when the water department works on a project, putting in a new water line or water main, before they connect that up to our water system, they have 2 good water samples taken, I think it's 2 days apart, that they send up to Sioux Falls that runs that test for us.
And also, how often do we send the water samples up there?
These are for new construction projects where if they put in a water, this one I was trying to think of.
I think that's Franklin.
Was Franklin Street. They put in some new water main there.
Okay.
And so after they put the new water main in, they fill it with water, take a sample, and send it up there. If it's a good sample, they take another one the next day, send it up there before they connect any of the water services to it to make sure they've got good water.
Okay, thank you.
would second Catherine's motion on item 1.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Now, on the other, okay. Motion and second to approve the remaining bills. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Who does the duty here? No consensus agenda.
Move we adjourn.
Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We're adjourned.